Hello, everyone, and welcome to So Many Games to Little Time. My name is Joachim, as usual, and also as usual, I'm here with.
Evangelos, as usual. Yeah.
And this time we're actually in two different countries because I'm still in Hong Kong.
Continents, actually.
Continents,
And I'm in
even,
Africa.
yeah.
And I'm
You can see
Yes,
the
Africa.
effort. Yeah, sorry.
I'm just saying, I'm in my mom's. I'm just saying, my mom's house, and there's like a storeroom she has, and it's got all this beautiful shelving here that
Uh,
could be very good for games, but unfortunately, I don't have it. That's one thing about this in Africa, or at least in South Africa, we have space. It's
yeah,
our big rooms with big open spaces.
that would be
It's,
hilarious if we do multiple recordings while you're there, and then slowly you see like board games creep in behind you and then start being
I wish
replaced.
that'd be great. I wish I could do that. I
Well,
did bring some.
yeah.
Yeah.
What did you
I
bring?
bought I bought I bought Tiny Epic Games,
Ah, okay. Nice. Nice.
and I bought buttons, the Gloomhaven buttons one.
Ah, okay. Cool. You should let me know how you feel about that because I haven't played that one.
Have you tried it? And then I bought Scout.
So, you can see that I'm wearing the Belgian jersey, even though we got knocked out of the Euros and it was embarrassing. Still, I'm just taking it on the chin. It is what it is.
Maybe sport.
Yeah, yeah,
Who's the name
yeah.
of the what name of the back? What's the name of the back?
No name.
Who would be the
No
name?
name.
If you
No
had
name.
choice, who would be the name? If you had a choice, who would it be?
The name on my back would be, if I really had to choose, I guess still De Bruyne
Hmm.
or maybe the Ketelare, but then he hardly played. So yeah, anyway.
Well,
Okay,
well, we'll see.
but
You said to make a new golden generation.
yes,
This one's
that's true.
over.
That's true.
Start over again.
Well, I had three girls, so it's not coming from my family. Not for the male football anyway. Okay, so enough
Yeah,
mumbo jumbo. People be like, when are these games coming? What's going on?
yeah.
Anyway, so
Okay, let's count the stars. So there's 1, 2, 3, 90.
My number 90 is well, I think it's what they call it we call a Marmite game. Either you love it or you hate it.
mhm.
Well, the game's 90, so I don't totally love it, but I do like it a lot. And that's Food Chain Magnet,
Okay.
a Splotter game. It's the only Splotter game on my list. I've only played Great Zimbabwe. It's the only other one I've played, which I actually did like. Um, it's a heavy game. It's not a very pretty game, but
Hmm.
I did back the new deluxe version by Lucky Duck Games.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about that. I think the aesthetics will make this game jump up a bit. I don't know. Have you even played it? Have you?
No, and I was on the fence for the Lucky Duck version, but then I thought it was too pricey for what it was,
Mm,
especially for how difficult it is to get to the table because there's such a big discrepancy of who has played before and who hasn't and stuff like that. So I was like, I'll
yes,
just play it when I go to Evangelos.
yes, but it is a great game, and it is a game that rewards multiple plays and understanding of it, and it rewards playing with people of equal quality ability. It is cutthroat as all hell, but in some ways very thematic. In some ways, because you are thematic, non-thematic, because you're trying to work out, you're trying to get your product to the houses, and you've got to work out the route that the product the food will get there, and that's kind of thematic, but also it's some kind of a weird way, like the people like zombies will go to the nearest one, and maybe that's what advertisers like. And you have the cards, so you're building a tableau. There's a race to certain abilities. It's like a technology tree in some ways. It's very tight with money, resources. I don't know. It's everything. It's a really really good game. I haven't played for a long time, but I look forward to playing the Lucky Duck version because I think it will get to the table a lot more often. That's the thing.
Honestly,
I think
it's a game that I really want to try because I like the whole idea of starting your own business and
yes.
so on. And I like the art as well. I mean, I even used to play like freeware, like free software for people who
Mhm.
are too young, which was like a German game where you started your own restaurant or whatever. It's super, super long ago. But that makes me think of
Yes.
it. And yeah, I'm very curious about it, but it's not, like I said, it's not a game you see hosted a lot either.
No, because you
So
don't because the thing is you can lose the game on the first round,
yeah,
literally.
yeah.
Like for example, if what happens is there's certain technologies if you don't get it at the same time as everyone else, you can never get it.
Okay.
So once someone gets a certain technology, it's out the game.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I see.
And if you didn't get the same round as someone else, it's a rush. So for
Yeah,
example, in the first round, if you don't get refrigeration,
yeah,
you're in the back foot the entire game. So it's a kind of game where everyone needs to know what they have to do and how to do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So if you're a noob coming in and the guys are experienced, they can destroy you, and it's gonna be a long beating. You know,
So it should
it's
be
gonna
on BGA or something where you can hone your skills
and
and
practice it. Yeah,
yeah, exactly,
but
something like
it's good to have. I think it's good to have at least one spotted game on this list like this, and this is my one. You know,
that. Yeah. Okay, well, I have
yeah,
zero
good to
spotter
have it.
games. I don't even know there are other games. I know there's a catch-up expansion and whatever, but
Yes,
anyway,
Great
yeah.
Zimbabwe is. I said it's the only one other one I played, which I
Ah,
actually did like.
true, true. Okay, my number 90. I'm not sure if it's going to be a crossover. I know you own it, and I know you painted it as well. I haven't, as usual.
Mhm.
It's Monsters on Board. So I don't know if it's going to show up later or not.
I don't think it made the list, but
Oh,
I did like the game.
okay.
I'm aware of it.
So no crossover then. Oh, crossover then.
No,
But yeah, I really like it because the whole dice drafting, first of all, and the fact that it's in the
yeah,
cars and you move them along,
yes,
and you have all these different monsters that you're trying to move along a track. But that's not the only thing because the
mhm,
dice have different symbols on it that refer to different parts on your board. So you have to move the pumpkins forward, if I'm not mistaken.
yes,
But if they reach a certain thing, then you'll point and you're going to score. So you want to make sure they all reach there at the same time, not too early because you don't score enough. And then there's also like everybody's trying to get these cards that give you bonuses and other things and scoring. And you want to have your monster at certain positions or your dice and so yeah. So I like the way it looks. It is a little bit
mm,
solitaire and it can be ruined by someone who ruined. Technically, when you play the first time, you should be checking everybody's moves, and after that, you can just play simultaneously. But
yeah.
then, even though we did that in our game, that I recorded, you could see at one point the person who had played before still make a mistake, and of course nobody caught it because everyone's doing their own little thing.
And thing,
So that's
that's
kind of
actually
like a
one.
danger there.
That's actually one I enjoy about game. That little puzzle in front of you
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you know
yeah,
that personal objective you get
yeah,
and trying to get
yeah,
the thing to work. It's actually that's a lot of fun. Yeah.
yeah. I think that'll come back a lot in my list. I
Mm.
always like a game that changes everything up. Like, okay, every time it's your turn, it's a new puzzle, and you have to
Have you
do it
played
all over
solo?
again.
Have you played
Yes,
solo?
yes, yes,
Does it
yes,
work
yes.
solo?
Yeah, it works for
In
solo
many
as
ways, I
well.
think it's perfect. It's a perfect solo game, I guess.
Because it kind of
Except the
feels solo
drafting.
as
I guess
well. Yeah,
except the
yeah.
drafting, man.
But then the drafting will be randomly taken away if I'm not mistaken. It's been a
Mm.
while since I played it, but it's yeah, I really enjoyed it. And there's videos on the channel if you just want to see how it works and all that for the people at home.
And you need
But
to paint it. You need to paint it.
yes, I really do. I really do because that makes it look so much better. I mean, I
It's
don't
cool. Yeah.
even don't necessarily need to do the monsters because they're already colored, but the cars for sure. That
Mm.
alone already will make a huge difference. And of course
Makes
the
it pop.
monsters
Yeah.
as well, but you know. Anyway, yeah, that was my 100 monsters on
No,
board.
good call.
Number 89.
Is a game I haven't played for a while, but I actually would like to. Again, maybe that's why it's so low. But the game I would love to play again, and that's Dead of Winter.
Ah, classic.
Social deduction game. It's the game's not perfect. Have you played it, right?
Nope.
No. Ooh,
No.
game you should play. The game's not
Yes.
perfect. There are problems with it. It has that weird. I'm sure you know about it. The weird semi-co-op thing about it going.
The trader
Where
mechanic,
okay,
yeah.
you get a traitor. You get the traitor. That's fine. But the problem
Yeah.
is that everyone is technically a traitor because everyone's got a personal objective.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and if you do not meet your personal objective, you lose the game. But at the same time, you have this bigger problem which everyone to win. So what happens is there's a potential if you play with certain players, which some of our groups are, that some people might say, oh, if I can't get my personal objective, I'm gonna make everyone lose.
Okay, yeah, like that, yeah.
See, that's the problem. So you get the traitor who wants to lose, but you also get everyone. So the idea of the objective is that personal objective is that sometimes you'll do things that make you look suspicious.
Yeah.
Okay, and or you become so. Besides that, anyway, so that's the one small problem again. But thematically and experience-wise, when it works, it's great. But when this game clicks, when everyone is on board, when everyone's willing to, because what happens is the way it should be played is that even if you don't get your personal objective, you still have that goal of wanting to win, to beat the game. Because the game's quite difficult, the zombies coming in and thematically it's such a fun game. It really does feel like The Walking Dead. And the crossword cards, it's such a cool mechanic. You know how the crossword cards work?
Yes.
Where
No,
the
but I
guy
was about
to your
to have
left takes.
Yeah.
What happens is the guy to your left will take a random card on the top of the deck,
Okay.
and he's holding the card, and you do your move. And in that move, if you do something that the card triggers, the card will trigger. So you just play your move, and then if the game will say if the character goes to the garage, then the card will activate. So the guy goes to the garage, and they say, "Oops, wait, blah 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 blah," and something will happen.
But at the same time, they're
story.
trying to push you to the garage, then, or what? Or they're trying to make you go there. Or
No, you don't know. That's the point. The guy to your left doesn't. No.
Okay.
You don't know.
Okay.
The guy to your
It's
left
pure
has the
random.
card.
Yeah.
And he only reveals it if you do you do it if the card, or the card, you pick up the card and says if the person to your left or to your right is this character, then reveal it.
Okay.
Also, if you die, you get new characters. There's no elimination. So if you die, characters, and they die all the time, and then you kind of lose this character. And there's wacky characters, there's fun characters, like there's the drunk mall center.
Okay.
It's just.
I was going to ask about Crossroads.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
I was going to ask about Crossroads because it supposedly fixed the base game and so on and made it a lot better. And
it was actually in the post. I think it was in the base game.
Yeah, there was an expansion though.
What makes the game really fun? Yeah. Yes, there was expansion that extended the game, and there was expansion that made teams, two teams against each other, like two warring factions.
Yeah,
that's my game. That's my 91, my 81, my 89, whatever it is.
89. Yeah.
And yours? What's yours?
My 89 used to be a lot higher. It used to be number 16, then number 20, then number 43, and then it dropped 46 spots to 89. And it's all because of Heat, Pedal to the Metal. So what is the game?
Flamme Rouge, obviously.
Yes, Flamme Rouge. Yes, that's now at 89. Because even though they're different, they're still very similar, right? But for Flamme Rouge, I still really like it because it has all the expansions that Heat doesn't have, and it does the expansions differently as well. So with Flamme Rouge, you have your two cyclists. You have the sprinter and the rouleur, and the rouleur is supposed to make way for the sprinter at the end, and the sprinter goes to the finish and so on. But also like the fact that you build your own tracks, because for example he doesn't have that. You build your own tracks, you have an app that can also randomize all that kind of stuff, and so it's you can make like a championship with as many tracks as you want. You just have to build them, and then you can do it, right? And the card system is okay. You have X amount of cards, you choose one to play, and then go on. And if you are in the lead, or there's no one in front of you or next to you, then you get a stress card, not stress, but like fatigue cards, so that can clog up your deck, you go slower. But then the expansions, they introduce weather, which I really like. They introduce more opponents, of course. But the weather stuff I like, because then you can like fall. It also introduces cobblestones, which I really like. Suddenly there's only like one line that you can get on and so on. And Yeah, I don't know. I still really enjoy it. It dropped a lot because it's a racing game and it feels similar to Heat. But also
Yeah.
because of Heat, I haven't really played Flamme Rouge anymore. But my plan is to play it again soon, hopefully.
Do you
Because
like
I
the
do.
aspect of, do you like the fact that there's multiple, you get multiple characters, like the team base versus the single in Heat?
I do because, for example,
Because
that's
technically
also
he could have
our.
done it. Because technically Heat could have done it too. Because there are teams in motor racing.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Do you like
They
the
still
fact that you
can.
could? Do you like the fact that do you like the team base or do you like the single one, like focusing on one driver, or do you like the fact that you have to manipulate two separate riders?
Well, the same thing with Thunder Alley, right? In Thunder Alley, you have a whole team. There's more than two cars even. They have like six
Mhm.
cars, I think, in total that you're racing with. I like having the multiple ones because I feel there's like more
Tactical,
strategies
right?
possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I like that a little bit more. Also, one of your if you're doing bad and you only have one guy, then it's just all bad. But if you have two, one of them might have been in an escape, in the head of the race, and the other one's just like sitting back, hanging back. And especially if you do like
Mm.
a Tour de France or whatever, then they can accumulate
Yes.
fatigue. So you can have one that's like hanging back the first couple of races, and then the next races go forward. So you're still fresh compared to the other ones who've taken up a lot of fatigue. So all that stuff, I think eventually many of that stuff will still go to Heat as well. The possibilities of
Mm.
having really nice championships, because the moment I think is just so. But yeah, I mean, it's just been overshadowed a bit. That's why it dropped so much. But even just now talking about it, I get more excited about it again. So
Mm.
yeah.
Without giving, maybe she was right when you talk about Heat, but did Heat weather make the game better? The weather expansion, because I haven't played it yet. Is
Well,
it similar or
it's different because the weather in Flamme Rouge is random, as in there's tokens out of a bag and you put it out and you see what
Oh,
happens.
okay.
But with Heat, it's like printed on the board, like the water and everything.
Okay.
So that corner is always going to have water. So that's not the case with Flamme Rouge. So I think I prefer the Flamme
Okay.
Rouge one more because it changes things up. While if you play, I think if you drive in Mexico, it's always going to be like that. Of course, you have weather
That
cards
makes
too,
sense.
but
It makes sense in Flamme Rouge because you're traveling long distance, so certain areas would have different weather. It
yeah,
kind of makes
exactly.
semantic sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but then again,
Okay.
in a race track, it also makes sense that that part is always flooded. So
Full loaded, yes. So
yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, that
Okay.
was my
Great.
98 Flamme Rouge.
89.
89.
89.
Number 88.
My 88 is my first Lasada game. Or at least I think so. And that's Escape Plan.
Okay. Yeah.
I really like Escape Plan. It is probably his. Have you played with me? Did you play it?
Yeah, I need to play it again because the guy that I had was if I remember he can get
Yeah, the
shot
repair.
and something happens and it was really like it didn't feel good. But I did like the game itself. I just didn't
Yes.
like my guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the game. It's a lot of people. The theme really works for me. I know it's also mechanics and it's very heavy mechanics, and you can see the gears turning all that. But sometimes it does feel it's a fun game of you've got to get to your locker, right? To steal to get your money, and you've got to try and plan your move and avoid the police, and you get um you hire employees to help you with thugs, what do you want to call them, to do
Yeah.
your thing. And for your game, there's real tension, like getting that to find that route out.
Because the
The
clock is
last
ticking,
round is
right?
glass is ticking, and you're trying to find the escape route, and there's real tension. Can you pull it off? Can I make one more lock box quickly and get out of time? Is he going to make it out first before me? And I found the tension, and it can be a little lucky, it can be a little bit random, but I think sometimes you need that in order to make the game fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really do like Escape Time. Yeah, for a heavy
Well,
Euro, it's very thematic and fun, I think.
Well, I do think I need to play it again because it was just that one character that kind of ruined it a little bit for me. But then on the other hand, I'm like, it's not like Architects, for example, I just straight up didn't like. But with this one, I liked the majority of it. I just felt I was on the back foot because of my skill.
The thing about the
at that point.
characters, if I remember correctly, they were Kickstarter promos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe they weren't fully tested or fully rounded out. So maybe you just got a dud.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm just a
Yeah.
dud player.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
No, I wouldn't say
yeah.
that, but as I say, that so I always like slaughter games, and this one, yeah, I really like the fact that it's so thematic,
Yeah.
and which is why I'm also looking forward to his new one that he's going to come to Kickstarter, which is Bootleggers, so it can be based on gangsters.
Yeah. True.
So I think it'll be a very good theme. Yeah, mine
Definitely seems like
it.
it, yeah.
Escape plan.
Okay, cool. So my 87,
88.
88. 88, yeah, sorry. I don't know what's going on today, okay, with all the numbers. Thank God we have like little videos in the middle that people know what we're talking about. Okay, so my 88 is Earth. So it wasn't part yet of our top 2023 games because I hadn't really played it enough by then. But I played it solo. I played it on BGA a bunch of times with other people. I haven't played it in real life with other people. But I feel it's, for some people, it's going to be like, wow, it's so low because it's a pretty good game. But in the beginning, I always felt like overwhelmed. There's like too much to check because you've got in Earth, basically, it's a tableau builder, right? So you're building trees and plants and islands that you have and everything. And while you're playing them in a grid, and they're supposed to combo off each other and so on. But then you have your own two cards, if I'm not mistaken. You have one card that scores it in the game, and then there's another two cards, and then there's four cards in the middle that everybody scores. Then you have another card that scored. There's multiple. There's a lot of different scorings everywhere.
Yes.
In the beginning, it's really overwhelming. Even now, trying to explain it without the game in front of me, it's a bit like, was it like this? Was it like that? But what I do like is the fact that it kind of incorporates also the Race for the Galaxy system, where you get the top action and everybody else gets the bottom action. And when you each action has a color. So when you use that color, the cards that have the same color also are activated in a certain direction, I think from top to bottom, left to right. So that placement is important. So the first time I played, first couple of times I got destroyed because I didn't see how you're supposed to play, in what order. And even now, I often just say, okay, I'm going to go for those two scoring cards. And then, okay, I finished them. Okay, what are the other ones? Oh, yeah, I can't do that anymore now. It's a lot of stuff to... So I think it's a good game. I just think I need to get a better grip on it, because people compare it with like Terraforming Mars and so on.
Yes.
For me, I feel Terraforming Mars is so much easier to understand than Earth.
I prefer. I think Terraform Mars is a better game. I don't love the game as much. I don't love the game as much as everyone else does.
Yeah, well, Earth would have never been my number one in the top 2023 either. I think it's just a good game, to good. Like the expansion came out and I didn't buy it. I didn't back it because I didn't feel I needed to. I already have enough, and that doesn't happen a lot, to be honest. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I think it's good enough for 88.
87.
My 87 is, plus it's this low actually, but maybe it's because I need to play it more. Maybe it's just difficult to get the table. And that's Scarface 1920.
That is low, yeah. I would have expected more, especially with all the painting.
It's surprising it's this low, but I think maybe it's just the way pub people work sometimes. And sometimes a game would actually, if I had to write the list, I'd probably put it higher. But with the ranking, maybe this ranking just came out this way and I just decided just to leave it. So I think it should be higher than this. But it's still getting its due here. Maybe just because I need to play it more. It is cumbersome game. It's a cumbersome game. It takes a lot of shelf space, a lot of that too. But it takes a lot of table space.
Yeah.
A lot of table space. It's a big game with big idea, a lot of ideas, but I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's very thematic. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous production. I painted it. It looks really good on the table. You know, you played my copy, and I think it's just, you know, the worker placement element to it, the card tableau building, the area control, the resource management, just to try and get the product to sell it. I think I like all those things, and I think if it wasn't just so, and I like the asymmetry too. I like the asymmetry, and I think if it was just a little easy to get the table, you know, it'd be higher, much higher. But it's a game I really like. I'm glad I have it. Look forward to playing it again.
I was just browsing. I thought there was another Kickstarter coming or GameFound coming where they put everything together again for people to back it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, there was the expansion came out a while ago. The expansion.
Yeah, but I thought there was another one,
game.
another reprint coming, but maybe not. Maybe I just
No, it was just on game. There was only GameFound. The expansion on
okay.
GameFound.
Okay.
And it always comes with 2 more factions, and it comes with a politics element where you get to manipulate the. So basically, it comes now as a new mechanic of a new rule that comes into every round if you vote for a certain mayor.
Okay.
So it's kind of thematic. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and yes, and they've got the cars and I don't know. I think it's cool. Did you like it?
I did, but it's one of the typical games where you have a power, and I underutilized it. I tried to use no, actually, I overutilized it in the beginning, which got the FBI on my case and then hampered me for the rest of the game. So normally I underutilized it. This time I tried to do it too much, too early, too soon.
Yeah.
But I did like the whole idea and how it worked and the cards, which I wished I used more because I enjoyed seeing how you did it because you did it really well that game.
Yes, I really leaned into it. Yeah, and yes, and I'm talking about I want to play the game, which is proof that this game should be much higher than 87.
Yeah,
and the other thing is every card is unique, beautiful art in every card.
Well, you know, I'm very curious to see what your 86 is going to be because it's obviously way better than Scrubbies 1920.
Actually, you'll see in a minute. I probably game should be higher too. But we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. My 87 is a fairly simple game. It's Valyria Card Kingdoms. So basically, I have a bunch of Valyria games, but I think this is the highest one for sure. Yeah. And it's your typical if people who played Space Base or Machi Koro or stuff like that. It's the same thing with Valyria Card Kingdoms. You start with like I think a 5 and a 6, and you basically roll your die and 2 dice, and if those numbers correspond with the numbers that you have in front of you, then those characters they activate. You get resources. You use those resources to get more characters of different numbers or the same, so they become more powerful. Or you attack monsters, or you conquer lands that give you bonuses. But you've got so much variety. Like for the number 5, there are like 5 different characters, and each game you choose one character. But then it's the same thing for every other number, and then you can mix and match, and then you've got a bunch of modules that came out. And there's so much in the box that you can do. A bunch of expansions that add like sailing, so you can go to different lands while you're playing. So yeah, the whole thing is just cool. I can play with anyone. They quickly understand it. After playing for a while, you're gonna have like, oh, now suddenly I have 20 strength. When in the beginning you were happy with 2, you know. It's just like builds up so much. And the cool part is, once again, just like Race for the Galaxy style, every character has its main bonus, and then the bonus you get if somebody else rolls their number. So even when it's not your turn, you're still getting resources. So by the time it's your turn again, you roll, and then you realize, okay, I have more than enough now to do something. Like if that wasn't in the game, it would take ages before you could do something. But you're like hoping, like, okay, you roll a 6, you roll a 6, okay, cool. And then you're like, oh crap, I don't want to roll any 6s anymore because I'm helping him the whole time, or her, or they, or whatever. But yeah, so that's Valyria Card Kingdoms. It's also Art of the Miko. I know some people are getting tired of his art, seeing everywhere. But I think for Valeria Card Kingdoms, it really, really works. So yeah, I really love it. I love that I have the big box. I have almost everything for it. So yeah, it's
I haven't
nice.
played any of the Valeria games, and I want to try them out. Especially like there's a worker placement by Stan Kodransky. I didn't know
Yes,
that.
I don't have that one yet. It's Guild Academies, but supposed to be really good
Yes,
as
I
well.
really want. I want to try it. I think I'm going to try and look into that because I don't
Yeah.
know, because it just became this. I mean, not like this. I had no idea what Valeria was. I just knew a lot of games with the same name, and I just didn't take
I think
notice.
for a long time, Card Kingdoms was the best game because the rest that came out after that was all a little bit like, you know.
Yeah,
So I got like Shadow Kingdoms, which is okay, but didn't break my top 100. You've got Quests of Valyria, also didn't break my top 100. You've got Villages of Valyria. I haven't tried that at all. So I think they went a bit too far with it. But then I think they asked Stan Kordonsky then to do one, and then yeah.
yeah. I
So
need to
this
look
one's
at that. So
supposed to be
that's what I'm
good.
interested in.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Number 86.
Is Evacuation.
Ah,
Another game that
yeah.
maybe should be higher too, but it just, I don't know. It's one by what it's fast becoming one of my favorite designers, actually. Probably my second favorite designer, and that's Vladimir Suchi.
Yeah. I
And
should have
you
actually
played
put that in my
Evacuation.
list. Yeah, I should have put it in my list, but I didn't
Forgot.
actually because I played it. Well, yeah, because I don't own it, right? So it wasn't automatically in my list. So I think that's why I didn't put it in. But yeah, I think I'm not sure if we'll be maybe not. I don't know. But
If it
yeah,
made it, do you think it'd be around here or higher?
I think definitely lower than 50. But
Right.
I don't know where. I wouldn't. It's difficult to say. It's really difficult to
I
say.
think it's going to end up being this low because I like Suchi's other games so much more. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it ended up this low. But it's still it's a wonderful game. You know it. It's like the idea you start off with an engine. You know, the whole point is thematically you're trying to evacuate, hence the name, your civilization to another planet. And you start off with a functioning engine, and slowly you got to start dismantling it as you build another one. And so it's this synergy between the two engines as you slowly break the one down and build the other one up. But you don't want to break this one down too quickly because you need the resource it provides, but you don't want to not set up the other one to set up another one too late, because when you need it, it's going to be too late to use it. So it's this balancing act that I'm not that good at, but I love the puzzle. I love failing at it. I love not doing it well because you always think I can do it better. You have fun doing it. It's a really fun game, and it's really a struggle trying to optimize these two engines. But it's difficult. Maybe I get better if I keep playing it, but I really love it.
It's one of the games that we did a podcast episode on. So,
That's right.
and I do believe that we said then, I think one of the drawbacks is that there's not enough, I wouldn't say enough decision making, but most of the time you're going to be roughly doing the same thing. You can't say like, oh, I'm going to travel now or whatever, because everything is geared towards going to this other place. So
I think if you find like if you find an optimal strategy, you're going to keep following it.
Yeah, and there's also no crazy different. It doesn't feel crazy different. Like for example, if you have other worker placement games, you might say, okay, I'm going to travel. No, I'm going to explore. No, I'm going to build my bookshelf or whatever. You know,
if I make different goals. There's some different goals and things like that, but nothing's. And the rewards you do when you pass or something like that, or the rewards you aim for every round. But you're right. It's ultimately if you crack it, you crack it.
Yeah. And then the technology does add some replayability and all that. But then I think we all agreed as well that we need to have more variation there.
Exactly. Or variation. And that's right. I forgot about that. Everyone has asymmetric technologies, but they're the same, always the same. For like there's A, B, C, and D.
Yeah,
they never change. So if you get D, it's always the same. Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
It might be in a slightly different position or order, but in the end, it's going to be the same thing.
And then obviously, it's always come down to balance. They were trying to make sure they're all equally balanced.
Yeah. So if there were like 8 instead of 4, that would already be huge. You know, because then you want to at least play again to see everything, and then what if different people, so on. Yeah, it's But I'm
Yeah,
pretty.
but-
I think it's pretty too. I think it looks pretty too. If it's like on the board
Yes.
and everything, for sure.
No,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's a really fun game, and the theme works. I think the theme works for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yours?
for sure.
What's yours?
My 86, actually, I started forgetting where the games used to be because Valkyria Card Kingdoms actually went up 26 spots, which is pretty crazy. But even crazier, I feel, this one has stayed on 86. It was 86 last year, it's still 86 today. And of course, you remember what it was. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It was
Didn't really
King's
care then.
Forge. King's Forge
King's
is my number
Forge,
86.
okay.
And the reason why is because I love dice, and I love it even more when I have a lot of dice. And King's Force
And then
gives
they
you tons of dice.
And they're translucent and pretty, aren't they?
That too, yes. So basically, everyone at the beginning of the game, they put like, I think depending on how many players plus one, they put pieces out that the king wants you to forge. So like four, I think in total there's like 16, but every round is like four or whatever. And then you
Mhm.
know what you need because on the card it says, okay, maybe 3 green dice, and green is wood, and then 1 black die, and black might be metal or whatever, and then maybe red is like rubies or emerald, whatever. So you know you need those dice. In the beginning, you only start with like one color, but then every round there's like cards that come out, and you have to choose. Okay, I'm going to do this card, so that goes away. A new one comes out. Okay, somebody else does this card, da, da, da. And you also have some locations that are set on the board that never change. So basically, you're like getting new dice, you're sacrificing dice to get other dice, you're getting re-rolls, you're getting plus ones or minus ones. You're doing a bunch of stuff. And at the end of the round, whoever is first player, because that's also something you can get, will then roll all their dice once. My audio just cut off in the middle of my sentence, so I forgot what I was saying. But basically, you roll it one time. And that's something that I remember some people didn't like. You only roll once, but then you have so many dice, you roll them all, and then you take the highest ones that fit the different things you want to forge. And then the next player rolls their dice, and they can actually trump you. So actually, it's better to be last instead of first, because then you can take stuff away from people. And then I think whoever has forged 4 items or something wins the game. But then the dice you just rolled, you keep all of them, and then you just continue the next round, and you or maybe the ones that you used to forge go away. I'm not sure. But there's also a bunch of expansions like Glassworks and everything else that add new stuff, new things to build. I don't know. I just like it, the way it looks, the way it plays. It's always a lot of fun. It doesn't take all night to play either. So yeah, that's King's Forge.
This is one of the early Kickstarters, right? Been around for a while, haven't it?
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
They did multiple
it's fun.
Kickstarters. I remember because in the end,
Yes.
I backed because I had the base game, and then they
Yeah.
did another Kickstarter, and then I sold the base game and did the all in, and it took a while to get it as well, but eventually I got it.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
Yeah, it's very
it's
pretty.
very
I mean,
good.
it's a very pretty game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
85.
It's one of the top rated games on Board Game Geek, and I really love it. It's by my third favorite designer, Alexander Pfister.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that it's 85 would be a secret because it's actually 15 in Board Game Geek. But it's funny this though because I really like the game, but I'm really really bad at it. And that's
Mhm.
Great Western Trail.
Yeah.
Very
But
good
which version is it then? The original? Or?
It doesn't matter. I think I count them all the same
Okay.
because you got Argentina and New Zealand.
Yeah.
I think those versions, the other versions are better. Have you played this game before?
I own the original and the expansion, but or the second edition, the expansion. No, the original and the expansion. But I haven't bought anything else because I'm like, I already have this, so why would I do Australia or New Zealand? And I think Argentina, right? I think Argentina is good
Yes.
because that one's the one with the sheep, but the other one, or New
No,
Zealand,
New
or the one with
Zealand's
the
the sheep. Argentina.
New Zealand is not that good, but I thought that I heard, but Argentina is better. But yeah, whatever. Yeah. Anyway.
But I really like the game. I like the fact that we have this heavy Euro with the hand management, or like a deck builder. You've got the board, which is a rondel, but you don't really realize it's a rondel. You've got the track at the top, which is the train, and you got 4 viable paths to victory. You know, you got to choose a certain strategy, whether you're going to do the cows, whether you're going to do the buildings, whether you're going to do the train. It's really fun, and the
I think,
contracts and the struggle of that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
but
one
I'm
of the
not
games I
good at
always,
it. I'm,
yeah, joined the club because a while ago I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna play it again without refreshing the rules. So I just joined the game on BGA, and I was like,
ooh.
how does this work again? And then I think I ended up with such a low score. As at one point people were saying, "What are you doing?" Well, sorry guys.
it's yeah,
I thought I
but I get
remembered
low
this,
score.
but I don't.
It's one of the few games that really make me feel stupid. Because
Yeah.
you end up like you can really have a bad game and have like a really low score.
Mhm.
But it's still a fun game. It's a brain burning struggle of a game, trying to optimize your moves, and no matter what, there's always something in your way. There's damn those hide that you get the bandits, or you get your buddies, everyone else is putting their buildings in your way, and you're paying money.
Yes.
It's
And
so
and
frustrating.
then you want to copy them, but you can't anymore because they already did
Yes,
something.
and you end up being $1 short to do something, and you lost that dollar
Mm.
because a damn thing was in the way, and you didn't plan for that. And or you get to the end with the trains, and you draw the wrong cards, and it's frustrating. But it's a good frustration. It's good frustrating.
The worst thing for me is the one game I had. I spoke about it multiple times ago, very quickly, that I was like saying, okay, I need to do one more move, and then in the end, I never did the move, and then I lost the game with 1 point. That was one of the Great
Yeah.
Western Trail things that I. Okay,
But
FYI,
that,
just to cut you off for 1 second, but I was doing stuff in my hair because the thing is the screen is switched. So I thought I was going left, but I was going right. I was like, what the hell's going on? Which good? So yeah, anyway, yeah.
That's
Even
fine.
now I'm like, well, whatever. Okay, yeah, continue.
Yeah. No, I said it's why we play games. You want to be frustrated sometimes. We want
Yeah.
to try and solve this puzzle, but I'm not very good at this puzzle. But I love it still. So,
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
Western Trail. I think it'd be a lot higher if I had that dopamine hit of winning sometimes.
yeah. But I think that's why the expansion is so good, because I think that makes it a lot more viable to travel to Kansas, a lot more options, and yeah. What thing that I'm not good at is using the cards, because you get the cards and they have extra scoring, and then I'm always bad at end game scoring. So then people are like, oh, I have this and this and this, like, oh, I lost again. But yeah. But it's a good. I think we'll see it. We'll see it again before the end of the list. So there's definitely one crossover that's
Teaser.
coming. Yeah, yeah,
Teaser. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Go.
My 85 used to be 38, then 64, and now 85. So it's minus 21. That is because once I got it, I played it at least 11 times, and I felt like I finished it kind of. And that's Monsterlands. Because I don't know if I ever played it with you guys. Did I?
No.
No. Okay. Because in Monsterlands, you are basically a clan. Everyone has a different clan, like different warriors, but you all share the same castle. And in that castle, you can buy potions. You can basically build yourself up, right? Get stronger guys, get weapons, get potions, get more attack, whatever. And then outside, the monsters are lining up, attacking the castle together with a location where they come from, because those two together is their strength. But basically, during the worker placement phase, you can also choose to go outside, so you can choose your first monster. I mean, you can the first one to choose a monster, because there's a limited amount of spaces. So it's kind of cutthroat that way. You know, you don't want to spend too much time gearing up, or there's going to be no one to fight. So basically, you go there because you're also collecting dice and everything, and then you fight that monster. You roll the dice. Yes, dice again. And then if you manage to defeat the monster, you get rewards, which you can then, of course, become stronger and everything. But if you fail, whoever's standing behind you, could be another player, could be you again, can get a second shot at it, and then maybe they're weaker or whatever. So it's always a bit tricky to go first too. You might be gambling that somebody else might fail or whatever. It looks very pretty. It also has the Miko art, if I'm not mistaken. And the reason why I played it at least 11 times is because there's challenges in the rulebook that they say, okay, and for example, okay, this game, no potions. Oh crap! Because with a potion, I can reroll. So no rerolls. Or now there's no equipment. There's no this. Or the monsters now have this or whatever. And it kept it fresh. And I just kept like. Thing is, if you play solo, it's a puzzle. If you play with other people, it's cutthroat. Then it's really like, oh, you stole that monster from me or whatever. So yeah, I think I really like it. I don't think it will ever leave my collection just because of the memories I have of doing the whole end of the rule book challenges. There's an expansion as well that adds like war equipment, like siege towers and everything, or big ladders or whatever. I haven't heavy weapons. It's called. I still haven't bought it, but I should. Yeah. That's I think that's one that you guys would also really enjoy, just because of the cutthroat aspect.
Yeah.
So
Always good to
okay.
screw each other over.
That was
Okay,
Monster
good.
Lands, nice and short. 85.
Okay.
Number 84.
Is again, I'm also surprised this one's this low. It's very similar to two other games that are way, way, way higher on my list. So I think maybe that's the fact that this is my third favorite out of the three means it's this low. And that is Star Wars
Garfield?
Rebellion.
Oh, okay.
Star Wars Rebellion. Two player head to head. One person's the Empire, the other one is the Rebels. It's incredibly thematic, like the other two games. And I love, it's again, I hate the cliche where it's like Star Wars in a box. It literally is that, But you're creating your own storyline, like the other two games. You're creating the storyline with your choices you make, and it fits in the universe. And I love the fact that it's the first part of the game is hidden movement, like the Empire is searching for the rebels base. So you're hunting it down, but at the same time you're having skirmishes, you're having these battles, these epic battles. You have the battles in space with the ships, but you're having all these skirmishes on land between the 5 soldiers. You try to complete these quest cards, and it's so cool. It's just every game is different depending on the choice you make and the cards you play and what you build. You're building your army. It's just a fun game, and it's thematic, and yeah, I think it's. But the only problem is it's a two-player game. Yeah.
I haven't played this one, but I know with War of the Ring, you basically always have to bring the ring to Mordor. But is there something like that in Star Wars Rebellion as well? You always have to do a certain thing?
The rebellions win by surviving.
Just surviving. Okay, long enough. So
and
it's
also
not like
completing,
a specific
item. And completing quests like cards. But also in with the War of the Ring, you can also win. The good guys can also win by a military battle, military victory.
Yeah, true. Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah,
so
true.
You can do a military battle victory, and you can do the Mordor. Same kind of thing, yeah. And it's the kind of thing like with the other games, like the Empire is very strong in the beginning, and the rebels are just trying to survive. But as the game gets longer and drawn out, the rebellion gets a little stronger, and then becomes more even, and it's this really fun tug of war. But it's in many ways it's like the magic chess game, more elaborate and convoluted chess game, and that's what makes the game so fun. But again, 2 players, you need people of equal ability, they know the game well. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah, like I said, I haven't played this one yet. I really want to do it as well, but I think you're the only one now that I know that has it.
Yeah, it's been it's been off since 2016. Wow, it's almost 10 years.
Yeah, but the reason why I have a lot of 2-player games, and then they tend to be shorter because they're easier to play with other people. But then again, all you need to find is someone who likes Star Wars or likes Lord of the Rings or likes Dune, and I think you can then easily convince them to give it a shot.
If you want to come over and play it, we can do it.
Okay, especially now you're not home.
The other thing is also the one problem with the base game was the combat. The combat wasn't really good, but the expansion fixes the combat. It came with a new expansion with more it padded things up, more characters, more cards, but fixed the combat, which is really good, which made the game much better.
Okay,
it's mighty cool.
Cool. My 84 used to be 34, then 79, and now 84. So it only went down a little bit, only 5 spots. And that is the Cold War. It is Twilight Struggle.
Mhm.
So the reason why this is still surviving
Wow, your 2-player
is
games. Talking about short 2-player
yeah.
games that you own. This is one of your short 2-player games that you own.
Well, short. Well, yeah,
Short,
definitely.
easy 2-player game.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. I think there's a couple of them. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, there's a couple of them. One still in this list as well. So with this one, it's the Cold War. Like I said, it's been at least more than a year since I played it. But I also upgraded it with all the Etsy pieces and everything, and I just like once again like the tug war, right? Yeah, the scorer, the marker constantly goes left to right until someone gets
Mhm.
far enough to win. And you have the whole theater of war, so you can play cards to. This is the cool part. You have a bunch of cards, and some of them are good for you, some are good for your opponent, but you're also going to end up playing the cards that are good for your opponent because you have to play a card. But then you're like, okay, if I play this, he gets really strong in South Africa, for example. But with this one, they attack Brussels or whatever. I don't know. So I'm gonna say, okay, if I do this, I can play this and then counter there. So and at the same time, they will do things too. And the only downside is if you play with someone who has played the game before, they know which cards are coming, and that is kind of tricky. So, but yeah, I just like the whole thing. I'm not that much of
Yeah, you got to
a
be
World
equal.
War. Yeah, you gotta be equal, and you can play it online too on Steam. But it'd be nice if it's on BGA. That'd be easier, I think. But yeah, it's fun. But the fact is, I haven't played so long, so I can just
It's iOS version. There's iOS version.
yeah, true as well. I mean, I can introduce someone new because I haven't played a lot. Because if I play a lot, then I'm ruining it with people who I know in real life. So
83.
My 83 is one of those. How old is this game? When did this game come out? 2014. So this game literally is 10 years old. Wow. And it's not okay. I'll say what it is straight up. It's a beautiful game. It's Abyss.
yeah,
It's a game I really like. It's not very heavy. It's technically a card game, though it doesn't feel like a card game. And there's so much going on. But basically, the game. You're creating these leaders to put in the tableau. And then you're trying to build up to put lands on them. What's nice is you get these leaders that give you really, really strong powers. But then ultimately you got to lock them up and lose those powers to get the points. And there's a very interesting mechanic in which you reveal cards and then you got to let everyone else around the table have the option to take it before you. And I don't know, it's a bit of push your luck. And you played it, right?
Well, I own it, and I own all the expansions. And have I played it? Have I played it? No, I have not played it. No,
Not at all.
not at all.
It's
Nope.
too expensive. Okay.
Yeah, like I have all the expansions, yeah, but I haven't played it yet. It's one of the stupid things that's super illogical, but it is what it is, yeah, no.
You really should play it because I think it's the kind of game you like, that short, crunchy game. It's like no longer than an hour.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've
Yeah.
read the reviews, I've seen the videos. I know I'm gonna like it, but for some reason it never. A couple of times I was gonna play it, but it just never happened. And then
And this game came out before the whole solo renaissance, so there's no solo version for it, which I think you probably would be able to make one. But I don't know. It's just nice.
On BGG. Might be on BGG. Yeah.
But what I do like, as I said, it's basically a card tableau builder, but it's that whole like bidding mechanism where you reveal a card and everyone else can choose to take the card before you, and they've got to pay you to take it. They pay you with these beautiful little pearls. And then you use it to buy leaders who give you powers or end game scoring. But then you also buy lands to lock them up. So as soon as you get too many keys, you lose the leaders, but they can then help you maybe for end game scoring. I don't know. It's a simple Bruno Cothalo, who's really good at simplistic games. Not simplistic, not simple, but elegant. It's very elegant in many ways.
No.
And And it's got a beautiful theme, even though the theme, yeah, neither here nor there.
But the art is cool.
Yeah, the art is stunning. That's the thing. It's the art
Yeah.
is absolutely stunning, and it helps to make the game bigger than it really is. But I say what I like about the game is it's not a big game, but it feels big in that way because you feel invested in the game once you play it. And I think it's a game I'll always have in my collection. It's one of those. It's a game I really champion.
Well, it's nice
That's the
and
best.
steady on my shelf of shame. So shelf of overkill, but we'll see. Hopefully, once again,
Fair
hopefully
enough.
one day it'll be played. But right now it's in storage, so I have to get
Yes.
it out there first. So
Okay.
okay, my
What's yours then?
83 is behind me. If I do like this, you see it
Mhm.
here. All these little boxes, the colored boxes, it's all of the same
Yes,
game.
yes, yes.
And
What is it then?
these ones here, these two books, no. Ah, for fuck's sake. The black books behind me as well.
Okay.
They're all cards. They're all cards and decks
Marvel
and starter
Champions?
decks. No, think more
What is it?
kitty. It's Disney Lorcana.
Already got that many cards. Wow.
Yeah, I've got all the starter decks of all the sets. I've got one of those books is full. Yeah,
Wow.
actually, you can see. Wait. You know what? For once, I'm gonna boast for the time that I still have it. Got this one too.
Oh, you got it
This is
priced.
an
Wow.
yeah, an enchanted stitch, which is like 5,000 Hong Kong dollars apparently worth. But of course, my wife said immediately sell it. But anyway, that's part of the appeal of the game. The whole collecting, buying not a booster pack, but a booster box full of packs, and then opening everything and seeing what you get and getting the whole collection. And it's one game that I know I'll be able to play with my daughters because now they already won the cards because of the beautiful arts. But the game in itself is simple. You just use some cards for money. Every round you can play put one down for money, which is basically ink. And then based on that ink, if you tap it, you can use it as money. Okay, I have one, so I can play a card that's value of one. And then if I have three, I can do a 2 and a 1 or 3 or whatever, doesn't matter. You can pay for it, you pay it, you put it out. And then those cards that are out and active, they can either attack other cards to take them out of the game, or they can quest, which gives you lore, and whoever gets to 20 lore first wins. That's all pretty much straightforward. Of course, every set introduces some new keywords or locations or whatever. And you've got your typical common, uncommon, rare, super rare, legendary, enchanted, whatever. So I've always been a sucker for collectible cards because when I was younger, I collected basketball cards and the thrill of finding cool cards and everything.
Mhm.
And yeah, of course, typically in this kind of hobby, when I got this one, it was the first box I opened. So that gives the adrenaline rush to keep going, right? To get more. And I do have one more enchanted, a Captain Hook, but yeah, anyway. It's fun. I played it with people who normally don't play board games as
So,
well. It goes over pretty nicely. So yeah, you can play with more than
have you tried?
2 people as well.
Have you managed to play the solo version?
Well, I just got it now. So I still need to unbox it. I still need
Okay.
to try it. The Ursula version. It's a solo co-op. Yeah.
Mhm.
And people, from what I've read, people said the solo is nice because you can try all kinds of different decks against Ursula and so on. But after a while, it gets a little bit samey because you're going to see Ursula's cards come up again and again and again. But of course, they're
Yeah,
going to
well, keep
introduce
doing
more villains. Yeah,
exactly.
So there's going to be new sets. Apparently, a new set is already in a couple of months. They're going to introduce another new set because the guy that I buy it from is like, "Hey, there's something new coming." I was like, "Yes, it's okay. Relax." Because he likes to see me arrive at his store to buy some stuff. But yeah, I think the game is good. It's appealing. It also has the collector aspect. It boosts this up. But for pure Magic the Gathering players, it's probably too simple. Because apparently there's been a problem. These expert Magic the Gathering players, they join the tournaments and they win all the money. Because for them
Of
it's
course,
peanuts. It's like,
It's,
oh,
it's the same. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so that's my number 83 Disney Lorcana.
82.
My 82 is another game I thought would be higher. Strange how this happens. Maybe just so many good games. And that's Tricarion.
Oh, yeah.
Have you played this game? Okay,
Wait. Are you doing the top 100 or are you doing my Shelf of Shame? Which one is it that you're doing? Because
probably a bit of both. Huh? Okay,
apparently, yeah.
No, Tricarion is a wonderful game. It's a heavy Euro by a company that I always is Minecraft Games, who I must buy every time they make something because they never let me down. Their production is beautiful. They make Euros. I already spoke about September, the other game in the previous list in the 90s, and they say their production's off the chart, but they also make these really interesting crunchy Euros. And Tricarion is no different. I like the theme. I like the aesthetic of this washed beige look, this old timey look, but it's like a kind of fantasy theater, prestige type aesthetic. It's a typical worker placement, but tight worker placement. You're fighting over certain resources to gather those resources. But what really makes the game interesting is, okay, thematically you're illusionists, but you have a book of you have a recipes, the recipes for the tricks, and you get a menu, like a menu with all the different tricks.
Yeah.
And every trick needs certain resources, so you can try and plot your route. I'm going to get this card, and it'll connect to this one, and this will connect to that one, right? But then everyone else is doing the same thing, and you can kind of work out what everyone's going for. So, and so you're trying to get your tricks together. Then you got to get resources to build those tricks, and then you also go try and then get them ready on certain days of the week. It's really Dark Alley, which gives you special powers. Then there's the other expansion where you get the university, and then you get more added things. It's a heavy, crunchy game, but it's why we play games, right? We want the theme, and we want the puzzle. Nothing is puzzle, I think. As again, you should be playing.
Yeah, but it's not. That's one of the games that's not easy to bring to the table. It's not like I mean, now maybe in the summer holidays, yes, but in just a regular week, it's a bit of a heavy menu.
And it's a long game. It can be long, and the rules are dense, and you got to get through the rules.
Yeah.
But once you get through the hump of the rules, it's a really good game.
Oh yeah, my 82 is another two-player game. I said only two-player game. It used to be 53. Now it's now it's 82. So it went down 29 spots, and that's a game that you should definitely play because it's Greece. It's Polis. So basically, one person is Athens, the other one is Sparta, and then you just try to what was the victory condition again? You either have the most dominance or you make it so the other player cannot feed their cities at the end of a round. So I remember playing solo a couple of times. I remember playing with Kine, and the game with Kine I won because I managed to like halfway the game actually. He forgot to focus on the food thing, so I was able to take the victory that way. So basically, you want to make sure you deprive them of the food, and the way you do that is by taking over, of course, cities, by doing blockades, but you can demand tribute in different cities, so you can get all the stuff you need, silver and food, and you can also trade. There's a lot of stuff that you can do and keep an eye on. Of course, it's turn-based. Okay, you do an action, now I do an action, you do an action, action. So it goes back and forth, so it's kind of like a chess match. And it's there's also an event every round that will shake things up. But yeah, it really looks nice because it's from the Veer Games, if I'm not mistaken. So the production is really nice. And I just really enjoyed the head-to-head. But once again, it's a two-player game, right? So this case has to be someone who's interested in Greek history, because otherwise it's going to be like, I don't know what I'm playing.
I need to look at it.
It's
look into
Polish.
this game.
Yeah, it's Polish. It's really good. But I remember there was a good
Spartan
playthrough
Athens,
online.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, there was a good playthrough online that made me get it. And then there's a solo mode. Well, solo mode you play two-handed. You know, you basically say like, okay, they're doing this, so obviously they will now do this or this, and even the attacking was pretty cool because you didn't have to be adjacent. As long as the roads were open, you could get there in an attack. You know, as long as there's no units in the way, you can actually move around. And so yeah, there's a lot of stuff you have to keep in mind. Yeah, a lot of strategy, and looks pretty, looks nice, not
I
too
didn't realize
difficult
it
to
was
explain.
map. It actually had a map involved too.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's cool.
Okay.
It's not a card game at all. It's really on a map, and then you do have cards for the cities, so
I
the
thought it was,
population
actually.
there. So yeah, Polish. Yeah, you should check it out. Yeah, I'm always
I'm really interested now.
I'm always up for a 1v1, or if you want to borrow it, that's fine too. I have some extra shelf space then.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
look,
that was.
I see that. I see his base 23 has available. Okay. Okay. I see it's available.
You can watch the video on the channel to see if you like it or not.
細空偷
And also 81.
My 81 is also a two-player game, and it's probably one of the best two-player games if you don't count the bigger game that I'm going to mention later, and that is Seven Wonders Duel.
Okay, so that is Seven Wonders Duel.
My Seven Wonders Duel. I think it's a brilliant game. I think it's how they've taken the concept of Seven Wonders and they've turned it into a pure two-player game that is tense and not the matter, but just that real tug of war, that struggle, the drafting system, which is excellent. I think it's so clever that where it's upside down, and the expansions make it so much better because the tension of I take this card, I really need it, but then I reveal two cards for the next person. So, yes, it can be frustrating, but it's your choice. You don't now, especially now with the in the base game. Yes, it could be mathed out, and you can be pushed into it. Have no choice. But with the expansions, there's mitigation now to stop that. But I think just for short time, it's very that punchy 20 30 minutes game. It's so good. And now that they've announced, do you know about the retheme? You know the new version that's coming out now?
No. Which one?
They've announced a Lord of the Rings version. There's a Lord of the Rings version of the game coming out, which will have new mechanics, but it's going to be basically a Lord of the Rings game. And it's going to be so cool. And I don't know. For me, it kills Seven Wonders. I'd rather play this anytime than base Seven Wonders.
Well, I think you can definitely, without doubt, say that it's much better than Scarface 1920 for sure. No, I used to own Seven Wonders Duel back when my wife still liked to play games. Shots fired. But after that, I got rid of a lot of two-player games for a while, so I don't own it anymore. I've been close to buying it again though, because once again now I know more people who play two-player games again, so there's a possibility that might happen again. So I don't know, it might be rebought because like you said, it is really good, and it can be very frustrating if you reveal two cards.
Now you get the Lord of the Rings.
The other way around.
Now you get the Lord.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings is
now get the Lord of the Rings version coming out, so you can just get that one. But I think for me, maybe the reason why it's ahead of Scarface is because it fills that niche of being that go-to quick two-player game.
Yeah.
If I need a two-player game, I have this, and it just hits that need so much strongly. And the app is really good. I play a lot on the app. I really like it. I think it's just such a clever design and taking the essence of the base of Seven Wonders and turning it into something different, but at the same time feels the same.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
It's a good game.
81.
Oh yeah, the final one then for me is
What's your 81?
it was not on my list last year
Mm-hmm.
because I felt I hadn't played it enough. It was too long ago. For some reason, that was not a problem
Yes.
this year, even though I haven't played it yet. Still, um, I think it was because I watched the video. I remember how much I liked it originally, and that's Vindication. Vindication is my 81 because it's a glorified cube pusher, I know, but the variation that you have, the different buildings that you have. I remember us playing the base game and then saying it's okay, and then adding some more tiles and suddenly became so much better. The cards that combo off each other, the fact that it always reveals a new end game requirement as you play the game, so it's never overstays its welcome because it can so that was really nicely done. A bunch of expansions as well to promote replayability, and I think this is a game that is not that difficult to understand and looks really beautiful as well. Although I do think it's a game that also suffers of, I wouldn't say bloat, but because more and more got added, the boxes became bigger and bigger. So it becomes more intimidating and also more difficult to actually bring it somewhere, because there's other games that I'll mention it later down the list. Obviously not today, but there's other games where I know people have sold the deluxe version to buy the retail version because then they actually play it because the deluxe is too big. It's unwieldy. And with Vindication now, watch out, don't get me wrong, the base box was already of an annoying size. It wasn't a typical size. It was like longer than usual, like almost Title Blades-esque. But yeah, that didn't help its case. And then I thought I had everything for it, and I didn't. And now I have the big box with empty parts because it doesn't have everything. And I'm like, oh. So that's something that has to be rectified. But yeah, definitely a good game that I really need to bring back to the table. And of course, that's a sentence you can say for many games that we're talking about now. Good game, but need to bring it to the table. There's only so much time in a year, but yeah, I like the whole thing, even though the idea of Vindication doesn't make sense, but it's fine. Just the fact that when you upgrade your horse and then suddenly you can move so much faster and it's such a big. It's just a game changer immediately. All those kind of things. Yeah.
Yes.
It's just a cool game.
It's one of the strange things, which is literally a dry Euro. It's a dry Euro, but the theme just makes, even though the theme makes no sense, and the mechanics are separate from the theme, but it works. It just really does work, because it does that whole Terra Mystica thing with the cubes, right? But it doesn't feel like you're doing that. It feels like you are. No, it's virtual. I'm sure we'll be talking about it later on.
But not today. Okay.
Not today.
Yeah. So
good call.
Yeah, so that's another 90 to 81. I've been looking at my background and I've been realizing that the majority of games in the background are not in my list because it's either haven't been played or they're below 100. So for people looking behind me, I don't. For example, you see Marvel United, it's not in the list because I still haven't played enough. But stuff like that. So just FYI,
some good games in.
But first, let's say goodbye to the good people at home. Bye, everyone. See ya. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Subscribe, press the bell, and all that kind of stuff. Bye.